Hey, welcome back to EdTech by Meera, and in today's lesson we are going to do Python tuple. Now as you know, just like lists, sets, etc., tuple is also a collection in Python. The only difference is Python tuples collection cannot be modified once it is created, but we'll see more features as we go along. Let's start with an example. With a tuple, which we call it num in this case because it's going to contain numbers only in this case. So 34, 52, 7. It can also have negative numbers like you can see here. And remember, these items are separated by commas and written inside a parenthesis, open and close parenthesis. So this is how a tuple is formed and written and created. And then print it out, print num. So you will come up with a tuple which is in the form of tuple 34, 52. The numbers or the items separated by commas and written inside open and close parenthesis. So this is what tuple looks like, Python tuple looks like, right? So you can see it's a collection of numbers in this case, positive and negative numbers or integers, whatever you call it. And there's another way you can create a tuple rather than just write the collection inside a parenthesis. You can use a tuple constructor. Like the way you used a constructor, remember, in lists and sets. So you just call it tuple constructor. How does it look like? You write create tuple and then followed by double parenthesis. And in this case, I name it as my tuple constructor just for example's sake. You can call it whatever. Then write tuple and then the double parenthesis. One parenthesis, inside that one more parenthesis. This is how you create. And then write your items, whatever. Like in this case, I write out the numbers, so 34, 43, 52 for example's sake. It could be anything, just for showing you how it is constructed. And then I print out whatever name you've given. In this case, I've given the name my tuple constructor, so I just print it out. And then I want to see if a tuple is constructed or not, or rather created or not. There's a spelling mistake, so I just do the correction and then I print it. Sorry if there's any background noise. I have to do this from home. There's a lot of stuff happening like chores and all others are working on. So you might get some background disturbances. I'm very sorry about that. There's nothing I can do about it. But please bear with me. I'll try my best to keep the audio as clean as ever, as clear as ever, sorry. And, okay. There's one more spelling mistake here. In the printing also, you're supposed to maintain the same name, right? So I just do the spell check so it's correct. Okay, so it's created 34, 43, 52. So we were able to construct the tuple using the tuple constructor. So that's great. Yeah, so this is one way of creating it. Next we will go to what are the different types of tuple. Like you have string tuple, you have number tuple, you have float tuple, you have empty tuple, you have a mixed tuple. So we'll just go through the different types of tuples that could be created. So here we want to create an empty tuple. That is a tuple with no values inside it or no items inside it, empty. So I just call it my empty tuple just for example's sake, and then I write open and close parenthesis and I print it out. Equals parenthesis open and close and I print my empty tuple. Yeah, and I print it out. So what happens? There you go. I print. There you go, empty tuple, no items, just a parenthesis, open and close. So this is called an empty tuple. So this is one type of tuple, which we call it an empty tuple, and this is the way we can create it. That's quite cool. Now there's another type of tuple that we want to create, which is called the string type, which is based on the data type. So the next one, the first one was numbers because we filled it with numbers. Second one, another one we are going to see a different data type, which is string type. So that means the items are going to be strings here inside the tuple. Yeah. So let's be my names or my friend's name, something like that. So I'm gonna call it my friends. So here don't call it list, mind you, it's a tuple, right? Okay, so my friends. So it's a collection of my friends' names, so I call it my friends. Then I want to write 3 of my friends' names here and then form a tuple. Sorry. Don't confuse with couple. Ha ha ha, it's a tuple. Oh yes, tuple, not a couple. Okay, so my friends equals Anna, Mary, Jane. They are my friends, my school friends' names, so I want to write that. Are you watching this, Anna? Are you watching this, Mary? Are you watching this, Jane? Oh, if you're watching, good luck to you. Your names are being mentioned here. I'm making a tuple out of your names. Ha ha ha. Do you know what a tuple is? Please watch this tutorial to understand if you're not aware of it. Okay. So there you go. I write these names, separated strings, separated by commas. Mind you, they're strings. Anna string, Mary string, Jane string, comma, comma, and then print that out. There you go. I formed a tuple with the strings name separated, each of them separated by commas. And the last one doesn't have a comma, remember that? Okay. Next one, I want to have a float type of tuple. As you know, in Python, float means they are decimal numbers or floats. So I'm going to make another tuple with only float numbers or floats, decimal numbers, or as they call it in Python, floats. So there you go. I just call it like my weights, because weights can be in, marks cannot be in decimals. I thought of doing that. It has to be integers. So let's consider better still weights or prices. You can say that in the form of float or decimals. So then I call it like my marks, and then I write my weights, and then I write different values of weights here. It could be a body weight, it could be a child's body's weight, it could be a friend's weight. That's different, doesn't matter. Okay, so 100.75, 75.25, 65.20 as in kilograms. And then this is a tuple already, like I want to print it out. I want to fill these items in the form of a tuple inside the parenthesis. And I call it my weights, and I want to print it out to display how it looks like in a tuple. So I call this my float, this is like a float type of tuple. There you go. You formed a float type of tuple with only float values inside it, yeah? So this is a float type of tuple. Then you want to make another one. So you've seen a number type of, number or integer type of tuple. You've seen an empty tuple. You've seen an empty type of tuple. Then you've seen a string type of tuple. You've seen a float type of tuple. Now you can see a mixed type of tuple in which all these, like, it's a mix of maybe numbers and strings, and even you could add floats, you know, something like that. So let's call it my group, and then mix up all these values together, and then see, are we able to do a mixed type of tuple? Yes, you're able to do, but I'll just show it to you with an example here. There you see, 7, Anna, Mary, comma, 100.75. But remember, mind you, after each item, you're supposed to write a comma. So after a number, comma, then a string, comma, then another string, comma, then a float value, and then no need of comma after the last value, and then print my group. Yeah. Print my group. So you got a mixed type of items. So you are able to create a mixed type of tuples here. Sorry, bad throat. Okay. So you are able to create all these different types of tuples you've seen already. Now next, we see how to access items in a tuple using index. So basically that means that items in a tuple are always indexed. Yeah. So how to access items in a tuple using indexes. And as we know in index, always the first item has an index of 0, second item has an index of 1, third item has an index of 3, fourth item has an index of 4, second item has index of 1, third item has index of 2, fourth item index of 3. Always is one number less, remember that. That's the way to remember. So using this index number trick, we can access specific or particular items inside a tuple. So let's say inside this my group tuple, I want to access a second item. Now if you see, just without using any code, what is the second item? Anna is a second item, right? In this my group. So how do you do that using index? Now what should be the index of Anna? It should be 1 because the first item 7 has an index of 0. So what do? Print my group and then write the index number. If you remember, index number is shown with a square bracket. So my group, that is the name of the tuple followed by the square bracket. Inside that the index number, which here index should be 1. First item has an index of 0, second item Anna, index of 1, and then print my group, index of 1. Automatically you get the item which is, there you go, Anna. Yeah, so Anna is the second item with an index of 1. So you are able to access the second item in this above tuple my group. So like that, likewise you can even access the last item, the first item, third item, whatever, mentioning the respective indexes. So let's see what else we can do here. So I'm just commenting out the previous print commands so that it doesn't interfere with the result of the code block that we want to see the outcome for. So it only shows one outcome, just so that, yeah, there you go. There you go. If you comment out the other commands, print commands, you will see only one result. Easier for you to remember and understand and digest. Especially when I'm teaching, I find this easier. So that's why I'm commenting out whatever code block we've gone through, I comment and I just stick to the current one that I am going through. So you've seen how you can access a second item here. What else you can do? You can also access now -1. Remember the index for the last item is -1 if you go in the reverse direction. So -1, if you remember in the group, in this tuple was 100.75 was the last item. So it has an index of -1. So if you mention index as -1, you will be able to access the last item in the tuple, which in this case is, as you can see here, 100.75, the float number, the float value. This was the last item, and by writing the index as -1, you are able to access it, or rather access the last item. Always the last item has an index of -1. If you're referring from the reverse direction, otherwise, if you refer it in the forward direction, the index will start from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 in that sense. 0, 1, 2, 3. So in that case, the index will be 3 for the fourth item. So whichever way you can do that. Okay. So by using index 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, by using index 3 also, you will arrive at the same result, 100.75. I want you guys to do that and let me know if you were able to get the same value. Now another feature of tuple is items cannot be modified. I mean, or rather, a tuple cannot be modified, meaning change. Once it is created, you cannot modify it. Yeah, even the order cannot be changed, which we already seen earlier. Now it cannot be modified. So for example, I want to change the value, like group, the item 1, the index 1, that is, the second item was Anna, right? I want to change it. I want to modify. Say my group 1 is gonna be Mary. I want to modify. I want to change the second item, and I write like this: my group 1 equals Mary. And then after writing it this way, trying to modify, I print out the my group tuple, and I see in the outcome whether the item has changed or not, whether I'm successful in modifying the second item or not. Let's see. So this is how you test out. Let's see the tuple. There you go. It gives you an error message, does not support item assignment. So what it means, you are not able to change this tuple because you already formed it. You cannot suddenly change the second item to some other value. It's not possible. So this is the meaning of that. And you already seen the order also cannot be changed. Every time I print out, the same order is maintained. Unlike in the case of sets, if you remember the previous one, it kept changing randomly. Here the order doesn't change randomly. The order is always the same whenever you print out. And items also you cannot change to a new item. You cannot modify. As you see, when you try to modify, you get an error message. Then if you want to know the number of items in a tuple, or rather the length of tuple will give you the number of items in a tuple, right? Okay, so what you do is using the len function. If you remember, we have a inbuilt function called len function, L-E-N function in Python, which will give you the number of items or the length of a tuple. So here I just write print the total length of my group is, this is a string statement in a print function. And then a comma, I write a string statement like this, comma, then I use a len function, inside the len function or the parenthesis, I write the tuple name my group. Because I want to know how many items are there by using the len function. This is possible. Now here there's only 3 or 4 items. We can manually and visibly say that. Let's say it has thousands of items. How to find the number of items? By using the len function. So this is just as an example to show you. There you go. How many items? Okay, I'm not able to do here because remember I tried to modify it. So what I need to do is wherever I try to modify, I need to comment it out. There, my group 1 is Mary. So I need to comment it out and then again try doing it. Then only I'll get the outcome for finding the length. I'm not even able to find the length of my group because I tried to modify it and change the item. There you go. I commented. And then now I want to do this print statement. Okay, let's see if we are able to get the same number of items that we have. There you go. The total length of my group is 4. Correct. There are 4 items here. As you can see, manually also if you count, there are 4 items in my group, including the mixed data type. So you were able to do it. There you go. 7 and let's consider some examples, some more examples. And some features that are allowed for tuples. Okay, so tuples allows duplicate values. So that's one good news for you guys. So let's see how it happens. How do we add duplicate values, and if at all it accepts it or not, through an example. So we'd already formed the tuple my friends, right, with these values Anna, Mary, Jane. So to this tuple, let's add a duplicate value and see what is the result, if it is accepted or not. So let's try that out. So as you know, duplicate meaning another like item with the same value. For example, we could either add Anna or Mary or Jane, second time, third time, whatever, and then find what's happening. I added Anna twice, so let's see. When we print out what happens. Okay, I want to comment out the previous print command and then do it all over, run the command again. Run the print command again. Now here, this was the earlier one which is jinxing with the current code. Okay, so let's print my friends after adding the duplicate value of Anna. There you go. Yes, it adds the Anna exactly the way it was added at the end of the string. It remains like that. So that means the duplicate value of Anna is accepted at the end of the string, like the way I had it. So duplicate values are permissible. Let's see some more features. So for those who are already staying subscribed, thanks to them in your Python journey. And those who are not yet subscribed, do remember to subscribe and press the subscribe button and the bell button so that you don't miss out on any of my weekly Python tutorials and projects. Next one that I'll be doing will be on dictionaries. I mean the next week. Okay, so let's consider this tuple that we have created, which is called num, with these values 34, 52, 7, and a minus number minus 43. And the index, okay, if you say index 2, that means 0, 1, 2. So third item, which is 7, right? So if I want to change that item from 7 to another value, let's see if it's possible. That means I want to know whether tuple is immutable or not, whether it can be modified or not. I changed it to another value. There you go, I get an error message, object does not support item assignment. So that means a tuple is immutable, you cannot change. Once it is created, you cannot change. You cannot mess around with it, it's immutable. So this is one of the characteristics of tuple. One of the other characteristics was duplicate is allowed. Then another characteristics, one more characteristic is you cannot change the order of tuple items. As we've seen it several times here also, after creating it and then when you try to print out the tuple, the same order, the way in which it was created is maintained. But we'll see here once more. When I change the item, obviously it is immutable. And if I try to change the index also, or the order also, it will be not possible. Like for example, instead of 34 being the first, if I make 52 being the first, also it won't be possible. So immutable and cannot change the order. These are main, and then it allows duplicate. So these are some of the features. So that these are the main characteristics of tuples. In numbers also, in number data also, if you try to add a duplicate value, it's permissible. As you can see, I added 34 at the end of the tuple, the last value, and the same order is maintained and duplicate value is accepted. As long as I don't tamper with the order or the index, it is possible to have this tuple with a duplicate value. If I try to change the item or the order of the item, the index of the item, then it won't be possible because tuple is immutable. And since it is immutable, also cannot change the order or the index. Now you must be wondering, is it possible that you can have just one item in a tuple? That's possible. So we try it out. Let's say in this we create a tuple called num and then just add one item to it. Just have one item in it, 34. Is that possible? Now when we print out the tuple, it just prints out 34 as a number. But what we are expecting the result as a tuple, because how do you know it's a tuple? Because it has to be preceded and followed by the parenthesis, open and closed. So also let us try it out with string items. When the data are string items, let's try that. Let's just have one string item, which is like, for example, say Anna here in my friends, and let's print out the result and let's see whether we get the outcome as a tuple or not, or a string. So here when we print out, we just see a string like Anna, only the name. It's not printed out as a tuple, because tuple means it has to be within a parenthesis, right? So what do we do about that? So Usually when you write a tuple, it's with lot of names or lot of items. Every item is followed by a comma until the last item which doesn't have a comma. But when you want to create either a number or a string tuple with just one item, then you need to write a trailing comma after that lone item, be it number or be it string. We'll see it here. That's a rule, and we'll just see what is happening here when we do that, because then the result will be a tuple. So let's find out further with this example. So my friend equal, so this is the name of a tuple, my friend. I just want to write one name in it. Let's say Guru, that's one name, and then print my friend. Print my friend. Okay. We get the result output as Guru, which is a string, mind you. It's not a tuple yet. It's just a name printed out as a name or a string. So if we want to have a tuple, like I say, you have to have a trailing comma after this just one item. We will see. Okay, after Guru as a string, write a comma and then close the parenthesis. No more items needed. There you go, Guru. So this is the only way, if you want to have a tuple with just one item, this is the only way. After that particular data or the item, you have to have a trailing comma, even if you are not following it up with other items. Be it number. For number also the same formula follows, rule follows rather. Trailing comma after that just lone item. Whether it is string or number or float, it's the same formula, the same rule. You have to have a trailing comma after that one particular item that you want it to contain. Then only the result or the output will be coming up as a tuple. So let's see here for Anna, just one item in this tuple, my friends. If you print without that comma, it's just Anna, right? Because I didn't put a trailing comma after the string Anna, because it was just one item. Usually in a tuple, for the last item, we don't have a trailing comma. Only after the other subsequent items we have. So we have to do the same thing here like we did in the Guru. After Anna, the string, we write a comma. Comma. And then no more items. Just close the parenthesis. Yeah, there you go. Just close the parenthesis. And then print, my friends. Run the print command. So there you go. There you go. You have a tuple with just one lone item. Just one item, Anna. Another one with Guru. So now you know what a tuple is about. You know how to access items. You know the qualities, the characteristics or the properties and all the features associated with tuples, how to create a tuple, how to find the number of items in a tuple, etc. Different types of tuple. So I will be teaching dictionaries in the next lesson. Until then, see you. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button so that you stay strong in your Python journey. See you in the next. Stay strong.